to episode 131 of Checkpoint Chat. As always, my name is Alessandro Barbosa. I'm joined by Matthew Figuera.
On a rainy day. It's been
Rainy
a week of rain.
week. Holy
Rainy
crap.
week.
I've enjoyed it. I've liked this rain. The air is nice and cool. You've got nice drafts coming in. It's good.
Yeah,
time.
it hasn't been cold, which has been nice. It's just been like cooler. But I think this is the result of, what's the storm named? Eloise. Which,
Oh, is it? I knew there was a storm. I didn't know the name.
I think it's Eloise, which I think it passed on to us via Mozambique. Yeah. So we've got like the light version.
Yeah, it's somewhat decimated Mozambique.
Yeah.
There's some bad images coming out of there.
Yeah.
So
Whereas,
that's
we've
really
just been
sad.
having like overcast weather and
Here you get
drizzles
your patio chair knocked down. You're like, we will rebuild.
we will rebuild. We can start from scratch. It's fine. Yeah, but then you also have instances like this morning when I went for a run. I was like, yeah, it's overcast. It's cool. It's a bit of a drizzle. Then like bucketed. When I was telling you before the show started, I was I had a route in mind, but I was probably the furthest from home when it came down. I was like, I might as well finish my run now. So.
Were you running with your glasses at that point?
No, I never run with my glasses.
Okay, so you never need like the windshield wipers.
No. No, but it becomes a problem of like, well, I've got earphones in. I don't quite know if they're waterproof. So I'm just going to put them away just in case. But yeah, it was a good time. Got home.
I think the last time I ran in the rain similar to that was actually a park run with you. I distinctly recall.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, this one time we arrived and it was like, it was bucketing down already. Yeah, and then Lenska was like, I'm not doing this run, screw this. And she went back to the car. And then as we started running, she like zoomed past us. She's like, I changed my mind.
Like, okay, well, I mean, yeah. I think
and that was bucketing down. That was I remember struggling to be able to see because it was like so much water in your face. It was
I think I reached a point where I was like, I don't care. I'm like soaked anyway, so I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing a run like that, eventually you're just like
whatever, man. Whatever.
And sometimes it's actually nice and refreshing. So
it's actually probably the best time to run, to be honest, because you're just permanently cool, which is nice.
But I guess especially with your hair, it gets like so wet and heavy, and
I
like
look like a Colombian drug lord.
Like a Colombian drug lord. Okay, running through
my hair's all
Parkview,
slicked back,
waiting for all the neighborhood watch people. Like they're just like WhatsApping the community group. They're like, there's a suspicious Colombian warlord running down the road. Medeiros.
Call the police. He's out here dealing drugs.
You get like the community security rolling up next to you and just like you like nod your head at them and they just nod back and like they just keep watching you.
Like, excuse me, are you selling drugs? I go, no English.
No English, yeah.
Like, I don't understand this. Yeah, but
have you aside from the rain, it's been raining some stonks this week.
Oh my goodness.
The stock market has exploded.
What a time to be alive. Okay, if you're going to ask if I've taken advantage of the stonks, I haven't. So I've just been observing peacefully from the side.
I bought some GameStop stonks.
Good thing you finished that sentence because you can't just buy game.
No, I was going to say GameSpot, and that's like a thing I've been doing all week as well, just like confusing the two. You know, people always confuse the two, and it's never me.
Regardless.
But now I do.
Not you.
But
are you a millionaire
it's been fascinating to watch. No. I mean, I bought at the wrong time. I'm still okay, but like the stories you see of people like putting in $1,000 and making millions off of that. That's like when they were buying stocks at like $4 a piece. Yeah, and now it's like 400. Yeah. So
can you imagine though, like you just happen to, I don't know, you time it right and you're actually just like an average Joe doing your average job, living an average life. You're just like on a whim, like this Reddit. So we'll get to it in news in more detail, but just to keep going with this whole train, you do see this Reddit thread and someone's like, you know what? Let's rally together.
Yeah.
And buy GameStop stock. And you're like, just on a whim, you're like, yeah, why not? Shit, I've got $1,000 in my savings account. Whatever. What do I have to lose besides $1,000? And you do it. and you just come out a millionaire.
Yeah, it's absolutely mental. It's I mean, the main guy on Reddit who's been kind of like, he hasn't been coordinating, but he was like the first one to kind of notice this. There's a big profile on, I think the Washington Post chatted to him, but he basically started buying up the stock in 2019 purely because he thought, well, new consoles are coming, so
they're gonna
GameStop,
skyrocket,
the stock is super undervalued. He said he never expected this to happen.
Yeah.
He just expected to make some money. And by the time this started snowballing, he had invested something like $53,000 in GameStop. And now that's worth $44 million.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to rewind, how do you just casually invest $53,000?
Well, it was over the space of 2 years. He was putting in.
That's like
it's a lot of money. It's like, I mean, if you look at America especially, that's like a pretty good yearly salary, like a whole year's worth of salary. And from what I read, he works in marketing, so it's not like he was a millionaire to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Geez, that's
but 44 million, and he hasn't cashed out or any. This is the interesting part. Is like everyone talks about these massive gains, but like when this thing eventually, because the expectation is it's going to explode even higher. It's like the whole idea of the short squeeze is that this is nowhere near the peak. Like there's expectations the price is going to hit $1,000, $5,000. It's only at $400 now. Wow. But when it hits that and the free for all starts of the sell off,
oh my gosh! If you don't sell off quick enough,
it's going to plummet very quickly, and also people are going to put sell orders for say $1,000. But because everyone's selling, no one's opening up new positions. Like, what do you think's going to happen? These exchanges are either going to like limit selling, or there's not going to be enough liquid cash to actually pay. I foresee a problem. Like, I don't know.
I think people are riding the train now, but like I would step off now.
I mean, listen, I've got relatively small skin in the game.
No.
So
I'm not speaking about you. I'm talking about like if you are in $40 million.
No.
You never had that to begin with. Like, sell out now.
I've been reading a lot of the Wall Street Bets Reddit, obviously, and just seeing people share their like buy-ins, and they've got like 20,000 invested with GameStop and like 10,000 with BlackBerry and 10,000 with Nokia, because these are the other ones that they're trying to like short squeeze now as well. And it's that's a lot of money. I put in enough that if it goes to zero, like I'll be sad, obviously.
Yeah, you're not gonna not eat.
No, it's like, whatever. Fuck, I tried. And if I walk away with it with like double of what I put in, I'll be super stoked.
I'd be happy.
But if anything, it's taught me a lot about stocks and trading online to the point where it's like, I could see myself doing this for more stable, long-term.
Yeah, you could just do it for other stuff now, which is quite cool.
Yeah, there's actually I'm not meaning to like advertise for them, but I'm using eToro.
Robinhood.
No, fuck that. I'm using eToro for trading. And they have this cool feature where they have like people who like invest in multiple stocks, and you can like invest in that person.
It becomes
and then they'll be like a broker for you. And there's one group there that invests primarily in video game stocks. So they invest in Intel, AMD, Nvidia, Tencent, some publicly traded publishers, stuff like that. And I think in like 2019, they had a return of 50%. In 2020, a return of 70%. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, because they diversify it for you. So it's like stuff like that. Like learning about stuff like that, pretty cool. It's never too bad to learn about that sort of making your money work for you.
But I do worry about people who, like now, they'll watch like a YouTube video and just drop like big money. It's like, no.
Yeah. No. I mean, all of this is down to due diligence.
Yeah.
There's a reason, financial advisors make a living off of this stuff. Because, that's their job to keep. So if you are just going by what you read on Reddit, then, I mean, straight up, this GameSpot stock that I bought into is straight up gambling. like I haven't read enough into it. I'm just riding this wave, but I don't do that for any of my other investments. Yeah. I do not advise anyone do that because that is irresponsible and
No, but like I'm the same way. It was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago when Bitcoin went like mainstream. I mean, Bitcoin existed for the longest time before that, but there was a period where the public were like, wow, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, money. And like some people put in a lot of money, and I think they lost a lot of money. I put in like 1,500 rand because I'm like, I'm not going to lose sleep over 1,500 rand, like fortunately. And I've just left it, and that's worth like 20,000 rand now.
damn.
Like, it's like, it's not a thing of like I put all my lives like maybe I should have, but that would have been the same sort of thing of like it could have gone the other way.
That's the other thing. Yeah, you're like,
could have gone
damn.
the other
Imagine
way.
if I'd put 10 times more, how much more I would have had now.
Yeah, but it's like the point I'm getting at is like I've done probably what you've done. I'm like I'm putting small values that if I lose it, I'll be like, oh, like shit, you know, that's 1,500 rand or whatever you invested gone. But if it works out, it's like okay, cool. You know, I could pay it off.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a tricky thing. I mean, I think I bought into Bitcoin around the same time you were when it was like 60,000 rand for a coin.
Yeah.
Remember that. And I like at the time didn't have the nerve for it, and I sold out super early, and I could have I could be sitting on a lot more money today.
Could have made stonks, man.
That's just the nature. I mean, I think about it. It was 60,000 rand, $600 a coin. It's now $40,000 a coin.
Yeah, it's
like,
insane.
It's ridiculous. It's like could have made tons of money. But, you know, hindsight is 2020. And at the time, when you're watching this thing go up and down, you're just like stressing it's crazy.
Look, if it was easy, everyone would have been a millionaire. So,
exactly. Yeah. This has taught me that the people who do this day in and day out, I understand why they have like heart attacks at like 35. Because this is, I can't imagine doing this like just every day for 8 hours. You're just watching and you're looking to make trades on the cents so that you can make marginal profits on every single sale. It's
not only that, it's like it's one thing doing it with your money, but imagine it's your job to manage other people's money.
Yeah. Well, this is the whole point. Why all this pressure is mounting is because like that's what people did. They used other people's money to play a game of chance on GameStop, and now they're being fucking destroyed because of it, like losing millions, billions. So. The economy.
Good luck.
The economy has just been shown for what a casino it really is. It's all nonsense.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's been a weird
just
week,
money being essentially created out of thin air. What a weird thing.
But I think we'll actually explain this whole GameStop thing in more detail.
Well, I'll try my best to explain that. Yeah.
Give us your analogy.
But I was going to say this is
GameStop
GameSpot.
Chat.
Yeah. This is Checkpoint Chat. We talk about video games, not STONKS.
Nice.
Well, at least the only
Sometimes.
STONKS we talk about here are turnips in Animal Crossing. Let's just say that. You see, they taught us. Nintendo taught us. They prepared us for this time.
So forward thinking.
Imagine trading stocks was as easy as just visiting someone else's island and selling for a massive profit.
How much are the stonks in your island? Cool, I'm coming over.
Exactly. What a great concept.
Oh my goodness.
But imagine trading with the Animal Crossing's online infrastructure. That would be a nightmare.
Oh my gosh, that would give me a heart attack.
So I have stuff that I played. Primarily like backlog from last weekend, because last weekend after recording, I
just
spent the weekend. Yeah, I spent the weekend finishing up Dishonored 2 and the DLC Death of the Outsider.
Nice.
And let me tell you, those games pretty good.
Good time.
Pretty good. Yeah, I took a while for them to click with me. I don't know. I guess I was trying to play the game in a very rigid way, and I was trying to bend the game into the sort of stealth I wanted to play as. And when I started being a bit more fluid and freeform with the powers that Emily Caldwin, the protagonist, has, then it became a lot more fun. Yeah. I was having a really great time just being very creative, getting around areas sneakily, and I felt like the maps got better and better as the game went on. The map design in that game is just amazing. Like,
unreal.
The amount, I mean, it's always the case of like, everyone makes the joke of like Deus Ex. It's like play your way, but every door is like you can unlock it, or you can hack it, or you can climb in this vent. So it feels very artificial because it's like you can play your way, but it's making it very easy for you to play your way. I think Dishonored does that, but in a far more subtle way. It has avenues for you to take, but they're not all laid out at the same place. Like if a doorway is locked, the vent to circumvent it is not next to it. It's somewhere else. It's like in a weird room, and then you get in the vent, you're like, oh, this is where this is going, you know, stuff like that. So you feel very smart when you manage to find a way into a place that you're not meant to be in a creative way. And that's mostly what I loved about the game, is just poking around the levels, getting around them. I stuck to a playstyle which was like, I'm using my like magic power to leap between rooftops. I always enjoyed being above enemies and seeing them from above, and just like kind of staying out of their way as much as I can. But if I got caught, I tried to, you know, dispatch them without killing them as best I could. But sometimes if I alerted enemies, then like 10 enemies were on me, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to die. Because like sometimes I was able to run away and reset, but most times they kill you so quickly. Yeah. So the game is really good. I think the world building in the game is also fascinating because it's got such a unique setting.
It's all about whales.
Yeah, it's like weird. It's like whale hunting and magic and like very steampunky vibes. But then the sequel takes place in a different city. So the first game took place in Dunwall, which felt very like Victorian England and Industrial Revolution era, like very downtrodden and stuff like that. So the sequel takes place in an island just off of Dunwall called Karnaka, which feels almost like Europe. Okay. It's far more colorful. It feels a bit more tropical, but it's also got its own issues. And I liked the change of setting just for like the visual style. I thought it was really nice. It's good. It's a great game. I think there are some standout levels, like we spoke about last week. The Clockwork Mansion is an early level that's a standout, and there's one later in the game called A Crack in the Slab, which I don't want to give away the main hook of it because you still want to play it, but it's on par with like Titanfall's time shifting level.
Oh, nice. Ooh.
It's like it strips away all your powers and is like, this level works by these rules. And I was just like enthralled by how it worked. It was just one of the most creative levels of anything I've ever played. It was serious. Like Dishonored 2 is worth the price of admission just to play that level. It's so good. That's cool. Really, really good.
Just on sidetrack on that note, I really enjoy when games do that to you, because you get to, like, a good example is Breath of the Wild, where you're so used to having, I've got all my equipment and this and that, and then you just happen to explore off the coast of one part of the map. It's like, here's an island. You can't use any of you've got nothing. You rock up on the island without any gear, and it's like, and you're starting from scratch. And it just, I don't know, it's such a like refreshing change of pace that like takes you out of the core experience. So I suppose that's similar in that, like you said, you don't get any of your powers, and I don't know what the twist is in the specific level, but just that in itself is like, no, now you need to start from scratch and, you know, face whatever's in front of you, which is really
essentially
cool.
I had to completely change the way I played, because I was so used to using my powers to you know, always have a vertical advantage on my enemies, and now I didn't have that, but the mechanic that it does introduce makes you think outside of the box, sort of. It was really good. Really good. And then Death of the Outsider is like it's not an epilogue, it's more like it takes place after Dishonored 2, but it follows a character who's like a side character in the main story, Billy Lurk, and it folds in some dangling threads from the first game, to the point where the DLC almost feels like an end to the series, you know, like I know Dishonored didn't sell exceptionally well, even though I think it's one of Arcane's best IPs, but if Dishonored never had another sequel, Death of the Outsider would be a satisfying ending to everything.
Okay.
I think it was also really nice because it's another 6 or 7 hour adventure, and Billy Lurk has completely different powers.
Okay.
So experimenting with her, she had a power where I could steal the faces of enemies, so I could do like a hitman thing and like sneak into places.
Pull the Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
Sure.
The one thing I did like about Death of the Outsider more than Dishonored 1 and 2 is in 1 and 2 you have a mana like meter that you have to replenish with like potions and stuff like that. In Death of the Outsider you have a meter which is segmented into like 3 portions.
Yeah.
And every power you use uses one portion of that meter, but then it always refills. So I was able to use my powers like so much more, and it felt a lot more liberating to not always have to worry about when I can top up with mana or stuff like that. So that was really cool. I liked that aspect of it. And she also had a far more limited set of powers. Like when you play as Emily or Corvo in 2, you have tons. Like they're like weapons that you equip. So you can have almost, I think it's like 6 or 7 different powers. And Billy Lurk only gets 4 total. And I felt like it was far more manageable. Like it meant I had fewer options, but I had to be more creative with the options I did have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they do a good job of making each character stand out and allowing you to play a certain style of game the same, but also like making it slightly different here and there. So,
that's cool.
Great games. I think if you haven't gotten to them, they're always on sale. They're very cheap. And yeah, I think Dishonored 2 took me like 14 hours, and then Death of the Outsider was like 6 hours. So, and there's lots more you can do. There's lots more like, because before each mission, you're in like a little hub world. And the hub world always changes. So there's always like side missions in the hub world.
Okay.
Like collectibles to pick up and upgrades to find and stuff like that. So I did things here and there, but not all of it, because I was just like, I just kind of want to carry on mainlining the story.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's good.
Just
I
too
hope
much to play.
Arcane gets to do more of this stuff. It makes me excited for Deathloop.
Deathloop, yeah.
Holy crap.
I must say, so I mean, just for context, I played the first Dishonored, and I don't know, if I think back to it, for some reason I just fell off. Like I played the first few hours, like that's fine, and I just never went back to it. Despite like I acknowledge, I think it's a great game, a great premise, and I do like the whole thing of it's like this weird first-person stealth adventure game, like
immersive sim. Yeah,
it's like it's almost like a niche thing.
Yeah,
but it just didn't grab me. But when I see Deathloop, though, just on pure style and the way it looks and that, I'm like, I think I'll really enjoy this. So, and even just the premise of Deathloop of like you constantly dying and you have to try to figure out, like it's almost like it's a puzzle game of you're going to constantly die. You have to figure out how to get through the narrative.
Exactly.
I don't know what the final product's going to be like, but that to me is interesting enough to be like, damn, I want to give this a try.
Yeah, I'm still like curious. I like don't know almost like the moment to moment gameplay of how Deathloop works, but part of that is like part of the mystery. It's like, yeah, it's this thing you're dying constantly. It's almost like a roguelike structure, but
yeah. I mean,
it's weird. Yeah,
the one trailer they showed was basically like, you've got to go kill this person, but because this thing happened, you forgot about this person. So it's like, what's the right way to do it?
It seems like a very reactive sandbox that you kind of have to figure out.
Which seems pretty cool. What's exciting is that Arcane are owned by Bethesda, which are under
Microsoft.
Xbox, which means there's potential Game Pass shenanigans there.
Yeah. I mean, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, that's also coming out this year.
Yeah, but they are both still exclusive to PlayStation 5. They haven't been announced for... And part of the reason is Microsoft is buying Bethesda, but the deal hasn't gone through yet. So they can't talk about exclusivity or anything because the actual sale is only going through, I think, in March or April this year.
Okay.
And
no
then
Game
they can
Pass.
start
Wah.
talking about that sort of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that Harvey Smith, who was the creative director on Dishonored and Prey, he's not working on Deathloop. So Arcane is doing something else.
So they're working on another project somewhere.
They're working on something
Interesting.
else. Yeah. So, because Arcane's got a few studios. I think Deathloop is being headed by Arcane Lyon in France. So,
Leon.
yeah, Leon. But I'm super keen for that game. I think what's cool is that it's a first-person shooter. So I think the action's going to be far more direct than something like Prey or Dishonored. So and that's coming out in May.
Both of those are like, I don't know. It's the fact that you have abilities or spells, whatever. It's like different. Whereas Deathloop, like you said, seems more like a straight up action shooter.
Did you ever play Prey? I think you would really like Prey. I was really disappointed with the ending, like story wise, and some of the backtracking in the game. But it's very much a BioShock in space type vibe.
That's cool,
and I think it's very good.
Yeah, I think between Dishonored 2 and Prey, I'd probably like them both. But my goodness, I'm staring at my backlog. Even with the start of the year, I've gone through a few games and I still want to play. Like this week alone, the Medium's out now. I've got it downloaded. I want to play that. There's that game published by was it Yacht Club Games?
Yeah, Yacht Club Games. Cyber Shadow.
I want to try that as well. And it's like I've still got Astral Chain on the Switch, and then there's a whole lot of other stuff coming out. I'm like, oh my goodness.
But aren't you glad you can play like backlog games? It's so good.
Yeah, it's been a nice, refreshing change of pace. I'm actually just going to play. I mean, it sounds like such a first world problem. Like I've got too many review games, but like there's a difference between playing review games and playing, games that you've had your eye on, for example.
Of course.
So yeah. But what else? What else you been playing?
So after Dishonored, I thought I would dive into another big backlog game, Yakuza 0. Which I've been dying to play for a while, and that's like this is a long game. So I don't know. It's going to be like an on and off sort of thing for me. I think just like
honestly,
Persona was.
That's the only reason I've probably not dived into the Yakuza franchise, because there are so many of them for starters, and they ain't short games.
No, they're all very long games. Yeah.
But I would love to play them.
Yeah, I think I'm like maybe 5 or 6 hours into this first one, and it's. A lot of the beginning hours is a lot of setup. It's all very good Japanese melodrama, Yakuza organized crime melodrama. It's really good. Like it walks this fine line of serious and ridiculous so well. It absolutely does. And now I'm more like I finally got to the part where I'm like unleashed on the open world and I have a bit more freedom to kind of run around. And it's just fun. Like it's like this open world, and every now and then it feels like almost like Pokemon encounters. It's like these like guys just appear and they want to fight you, and then it turns into like a 3D arcade brawler sort of thing where the combat is very button mashy and, in my view, one note, but it's fun. Like man, Kiryu straight up looks like he's killing these dudes, but he's never killing people. It's ridiculous.
You beat like the shit out of them, and they drop money. Which is cool.
They drop money. They do. You can do this like suplex on this guy's neck, and I'm like, that guy's dead. That guy, and then the screen like fades, and he's like on the floor. He's like, oh.
He's like, oh.
I think
it takes some inspiration from Mortal Kombat, where there's stuff that'll straight up murder people, but it doesn't.
Yeah, or like Batman the Arkham series. You're like, that dude is dead, and it's like, no. So yeah, it's fun. I'm enjoying the story so far. The setting is really good because it's set in like the late 1980s. So you're in a city called Kamurocho, but it's styled very differently to, a modern day Yakuza. And mainly it's just like I'm diving into all of the mini games that everyone keeps talking about. Like I go to a Sega arcade and I play the claw machine for a while.
But for a while, how many hours is this? 5 to 6 hours is all in the claw machine.
I played a lot of the claw machine. I've played a lot of the batting cages. There's like a baseball batting cage mini game, which is really fun. There's also a really complex dancing mini game, which I'm kind of like still trying to understand.
Nice.
I need to find another karaoke bar because the karaoke is really fun.
Oh my gosh,
to
it's
play.
karaoke.
Yeah, there's karaoke. There's I played pool, like billiards.
Oh my
Played
goodness.
darts.
So Yakuza is actually just the best collection of mini games.
Yeah, it's like 100. What is that? 101 mini games thing on Nintendo Switch, but it's set to the tune of a Japanese melodrama. Yeah. It's fantastic. It's so ridiculous though. Like, there's just this guy that keeps appearing who's like wanting to train to fight me, but he just keeps randomly appearing. He's like this hobo, and I'm just like,
oh my goodness,
where are you coming from? And then, like I told you the other day, I played a mission where I had to help this like boy band or like this essentially like a rock band like up their bad boy image because they're actually all like saints, but they've attracted like a following that expects them to be hardcore and like almost gangster like. So like I had to teach them how to do that, and it's so fun.
Goodness.
It's just really.
But I think that's what
yeah.
makes the franchise really good is that it, like you said, it straddles this fine line between like it's super serious, like it's this, the Yakuza is like a crime gang in Japan, very much like the mafia, but there's stories, missions like that. It's like, you're gonna help this boy band.
Yeah,
it's like,
but
why?
the Yakuza, they talk. I mean, they structured like a family, and there's so much honor involved in it, and like everyone knows you Yakuza, and they just stay away from you, and it's so weird. It's so good.
I think the best way I can explain or sell this game is that. So my brother's the sort of gamer who he likes his Call of Duties, his Uncharted. It's like mostly adventure games or shooters. Okay.
He bought that limited edition Uncharted PS4, didn't he?
Yeah. So you got the limited edition Uncharted. But then I would honestly never recommend Yakuza to him purely because I'm like, it's probably a bit too out there or weird, whatever. Like, because like you've explained, it's not quite your typical RPG.
Definitely not,
like it's, I don't know. But he ended up picking up, I don't know which one it was, Yakuza something on PS Plus like 2-3 years ago. And he finished it. I was genuinely surprised. Like, oh my gosh, like this game clearly like was special that he went through the whole thing. And I remember him the one time I visited, he showed me like, this is why I know about the combats and stuff because I've seen it. I've seen him play it where it's like, exactly what you said. You like straight up murder these people, but then like the screen transitions are just on the floor. Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, they're just like, okay. Oh my god, I'm a bit sore. It's
good.
It's good. It's like, there's Yakuza 0, and then it goes from like 1 until 6, and I don't foresee an instance where I'm going to be playing all of them. But I wanted to play at least 0 before I jump onto
Like a Dragon.
Because Like a Dragon is like new character,
like
new style of play. And everyone says Yakuza 0 is a really good one. So a really good, almost like self-contained one as well. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm probably going to be, jumping on and off of it because games are coming in now. They're starting to come in thick and fast. So, like, it could be like a Persona thing for me where I play it over the space of like a year or a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm having a good time with it. So
nice.
Would recommend. It was also
nice.
$80 on PlayStation. It's also on Game Pass, so you can grab it.
Game Pass. I think the whole Yakuza franchise is basically on Game Pass.
It's unreal
now.
Because like 2 years ago, Yakuza did not exist on Xbox.
Yeah.
And now it was like a launch title for the Series X, and you've got all of them on Game Pass. It's
I don't know what shenanigans Microsoft pulled there because generally like Yakuza is made by a Japanese company and you would think
published by Sega.
You'd think the allegiance would just be PlayStation, but Sega has been like good buddies with the Xboxer teams, which is not a bad thing. Like I'm not at all saying it's a bad thing.
I do feel like Yakuza, it's almost like Yakuza and Persona finally got their due because they're franchises that have been around forever. And I think they've always been spoken about on the periphery.
Yeah.
But like Persona 5 really launched Persona into like mainstream, consciousness. And I feel like Yakuza 0 kind of did the same for Yakuza.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. It's
a good time.
Very cool. But that's basically what I've been playing. I dabbled for an hour in the Medium last night. so I can't really talk much, but it is
We'll
spooky.
talk about that next week.
It
Is
looks very
spooky?
pretty, and I'm keen to play more.
How many
So,
times
yeah.
did you poop your pants?
I did jump once in the it wasn't like a jump scare, but it was something I didn't expect to happen. Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
took me by
I
surprise.
think the fixed camera angle aspect of it, because it's like very much like an old school Resident
like
Evil
Resident
Silent
Evil,
Hill.
yeah.
I think they
Nice.
use it very well because they know what your perspective is going to be.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah.
well, on that, I think we both played the Resident Evil Village demo, which we can talk
Oh, yeah.
about quickly.
Yeah.
Because I also played that.
Wow, it's felt like a long week. I felt like I played that ages ago.
I've played a fair bit this week as well that I want to dive into. But I think just in the Resident Evil Village demo side, I played it. It's super short. It took me like 20 minutes or so. And it really struck me. It's more Resident Evil 7, which is a good thing, but not in like backwater South America. It's like in a big, beautiful mansion, which will obviously be part of, a village in, I don't know, is it in Europe? We don't actually know where the setting is. I don't think.
I'm not entirely sure, like
I
where
don't think they've
it is.
revealed
Yeah.
where it happens, but the setting is just, I really enjoyed the demo because it just gave a very quick vertical slice of this is the playground you're going to play in, and that mansion's beautiful. Like that
Stunning,
engine is just, I don't know. Like I'm playing it on the PS5, but I know that's what it looked like on PS4 because that's what Resident Evil 7 looked like basically.
And it's smooth as hell.
Yeah,
It's
super smooth.
so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
there's no combat in the demo, but it's really just like a walking sim of.
I mean, they call
is-
it a visual showcase.
Yeah, it's just to show
So
you what the engine looks like, what the settings are.
The mansion reminds me a lot of Spencer Mansion in Resident Evil 1.
Yeah. No, but I think a lot of the games always harken back to that specific mansion. It's always like something. It's inspired, a lot of follow-ups. Even in, Resident Evil Revelations 2.
I still need to play that.
That's a great game. I think it's so underrated. Like it's not a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 game, but it's a really good Resident Evil game that I think a lot of people overlooked.
It's on GameSpot as well. I should give it a go.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I would consider picking that up on Switch even, because the way it's broken up is that it's done by like episodes, almost like a TV show.
Yeah, I remember
So
it
it's
was
like-
released episodically.
Yeah, so it's like an hour or two per episode, which to me on the Switch is really cool.
and it's more like Resident Evil 5 style gameplay.
Yeah,
right?
it's
More
like over the
actiony.
shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a good combination of action and horror because the setting is like doom and gloom. It's not quite as actiony as Resident Evil 5 and 6.
Oh, okay.
But in one of those chapters, you enter a mansion that's very much like, this is like Resident Evil 1 mansion.
Okay.
So like I felt that in Village is like they've clearly taken inspiration from the original, which is not a bad thing.
Did you jump out of your skin? There was one part that scared me genuinely in the demo where you're just walking down, or I think you're in the like main hall of the mansion, and out of nowhere, one of the vampire sisters just goes, "I'm watching you," and I was like,
Yeah, I was like,
I crapped myself. Oh my god! Because it comes out of nowhere and the music just cuts like immediately.
yeah,
as
I
she
think
says
I think
it.
I just happened to be walking down the stairs when that happened.
Oh
And it
my
is like-
god!
And in my head, I'm like, because you start off in that jail cell, right? And
Yes.
there's like something down there with you. But the fact that they straight up said like it's like you said, it's a visual showcase, whatever they called it. I was like, okay, there's not going to be combat.
Yeah, nothing's gonna jump out and try and
Nothing's
kill
going to
me.
jump out at me
yeah.
or whatever. But even just in the cells, it's like, oh my god, like there's something down here with me. But exactly like you said, in the mansion, you're walking, and she's like, I'm watching you. I was like, oh my god.
God, I jumped out of my. It's so well done. It's really, really well done. And I genuinely felt like I could have died at that point because she then attacks you.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah,
I just ran.
I think you can die in that demo
Yeah.
if you take enough
I ran
damage.
to the door and then got killed by everyone's favorite big vampire lady.
What's it, Lady Damascus?
Demiscu, yeah.
Something.
She really
something.
is huge. I mean, she had to duck
She's
to get in
giant.
under that door. She's massive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a cool demo. It's like I just wanted to see what that engine looks like, and yeah, it's gorgeous.
Looks great.
It's
So
proper
is it a-
gorgeous.
Is the demo exclusive on PS5?
Yeah, they said they are releasing another demo that will be cross-platform
That's cool.
soon. Well, I guess it has to be kind of soon because the game's out in like
It's in May.
beginning of May. It's like 3 months from now. So May
cool.
is
I'm
cool.
excited for
Hey,
that.
Resident Evil, Deathloop,
Mm-hmm.
exciting stuff. Exciting. What else have you been playing?
So last weekend actually, I dived into the Black Ops. Is it Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War?
That's the one.
The world's
most
longest name.
It's a ridiculous
I dived
name.
into because we got a review copy when the game launched in November? Was it October,
Yeah, around
November?
when the PlayStation 5 launched.
And I just never got around to it because that was just a crazy period where we were playing Demon Souls and Spider-Man and a whole lot of other stuff. And I just thought, you know what, I've actually finished what's like on my plate at the moment, and I want a quick palate cleanser, which Call of Duty campaigns are. They're usually relatively short, like 6 to 10 hours.
They're nice action movies.
Yeah, they very actiony, and I thought it was fun. It was like that it was just Call of Duty, which is not a bad thing, but I felt it was very short, and yeah, just I actually don't know how else to explain it other than it was okay. Like it wasn't didn't blow my socks off. I wasn't disappointed. Like I got exactly what I expected.
Yeah, I felt the same. I thought Modern Warfare was a better campaign. So I thought after Modern Warfare, this was not as good, but at the same time, I appreciated some of the levels. Like you were saying, the level that almost feels like a Hitman level in the Kremlin is kind of cool.
Like, is it the Kremlin? It's like
yes.
Is it KGB? It's not KGB headquarters. It's
just
the
Russian headquarters.
Russian, yeah. Where the premise is you basically need to get a key card to let the American hit
Let your
team
pals
get
in. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's not one way to do it. There are like 3 or 4 different ways to do it, which encourages replayability in a good way. Like you want to see like, oh, what if I had done it this way or this way? That to me was definitely the highlight of the game. And interestingly enough, like no action in that specific part.
Yeah. It's very well done.
Walking around, exploring, trying to solve a puzzle essentially.
Yeah. No, it was very Hitman-esque in a way. Very, very scripted because it told you immediately where you needed to go to do certain objectives. But, for a Call of Duty game, I think it was kind of like out there, which is kind of cool. Yeah. I think the campaign missions are fun. I think they jump around to cool locations and give you cool weapons to use. But, yeah, it's just... I never found the story surprising.
I just found the missions themselves very short.
Extremely short, yeah.
Incredibly short. Some of them even, I mean, there are 2 endings to the game, I think. So there are some side missions that I have to go back and do. So like the game, I think the game is good in the sense that it encourages you to poke around a bit more. Like it's not just a straight up run A to B Call of Duty. You can do that. That's actually what I did on my first playthrough. But there are side missions you can do, but in order to unlock them or do them properly, you need to explore existing missions to get intel, record, like that sort of thing.
The puzzles, once you've got all those intel pieces, you have to like solve a puzzle to unlock the mission. Those are pretty cool. I quite
which is cool.
Those, yeah.
But then like the ending I got, which is just a straight up, you make a choice at the end and it determines which final mission you get. It was done in it felt like 10 minutes, like 10, 15 minutes. And it was like, boom, roll credits. I was like, whoa.
No, it's very quick.
It was very, very short, yeah.
Yeah, all of the missions feel like that. They feel like 15 minutes vignettes.
So short. Yeah, and then I sat and I thought about it. I'm like, my playtime is probably like 5 hours, 6 hours, which even that, I was like, that is very short. But, I mean, Call of Duty, we all know the single-player campaign's not really what it's about anymore, and it hasn't been about that for a long time. But, I mean, I haven't really played multiplayer, nor have I tried the zombie mode.
Zombie mode's fun. We should play that.
Yeah, but in terms of the campaign, I just like you said, really fun. But it's par for the course, and I just felt it was a bit short. But what I did enjoy actually is on the PS5 the adaptive triggers. Like,
oh yeah, how did you feel about those?
I thought it was really cool. But you can't play like that in multiplayer.
Hell no.
Because it actually puts you at a disadvantage. And weirdly enough, your hands get tired
Yes.
from pulling down the trigger. Like, I did not expect
Yes.
that at all.
I feel like the tension on them is a bit too much because, like, especially my left finger with aiming down the sights constantly.
I don't get why the left trigger's got the tension, to be completely
Yeah,
honest. Like,
I'm confused by that as well.
I get that. I get that they're trying to convey, like, if you're holding a sniper rifle, it usually takes you longer to pull up the scope, whatever. But I'm like, that doesn't translate well on the left trigger. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. Whereas on the right trigger, I'm like, yeah, you're trying to simulate you pulling a trigger. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, the right trigger is cool because it's like easy, and then it gets to like a point where you have to really like click the trigger in to fire, which I think is really cool. And then the vibration they say the vibration's all different for every gun. I think it's very subtle. But like you said, especially on console, since Call of Duty 4, the idea has always been aim down sights, let go, and re-engage it, because then it activates the snapping, the auto-aim snapping. So if you're doing that between every enemy, or at least, frequently, the resistance on that trigger just, it's so tiring. It's so tiring, yeah. But it's a cool concept. Like, I think it adds a lot of immersion to the campaign. But like you said, I'd never use it in multiplayer. Never.
Yeah, you'll lose.
But we should definitely play zombies, because I've played a few rounds of the zombies solo, which you can 100% do. It's super fun. I think it's really fun, and I think with a few people it would be even more. It looks good though. I think on PS5 it looks visually quite nice, especially that first mission in the rain and with all the the neon signs. I think it's quite nice. That game gets off to a fucking fast start though. Hey? It's like,
it does. Yeah.
Here's this mission. Oh, now you're attacking a plane with a remote control.
It's super fast.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how quickly it jumps between things. But
it does have a twist at the end, which is like typical Black Ops, which I thought was. Okay.
I saw that shit coming from a mile away. It was like,
no,
oh, you've played a Black Ops game? Oh, okay, cool. Okay. We got you. Yeah, we got you.
Nice.
Funnily enough, all the missions that took place in like Vietnam were like my least favorite. I thought they just were not great.
I much preferred the... Like, it's weird because there are some missions that emphasize stealth, but it's like... It's so short-lived that it's like...
Oh, that one actually where you sneaking through the city.
Like
that was
cool.
really fun. I really enjoyed that.
It's so short-lived. It's like there's that mission and there's maybe one or two others, but they're so like, because the missions are so short, I'm like, I would enjoy more of this, because it's the thing of like, you could... I mean, I suppose that mission does have a fail state of like, you absolutely cannot be seen. But like the fact that it's got stealth mechanics, but it doesn't really lean into them, I'm like, it would have been nice to have.
Well, more. No, you can be seen in that portion. If you get seen and you kill people, when you meet up with your contact, he has a different line of dialogue to be like,
okay.
Yeah. And like, there's a little side mission in that mission where you have to find an informant. Did you let him live or did you kill him?
No, I shot him.
So you see, I let him live.
Oh no!
And then at the end of the mission, he betrays you, and
because I read there was a file there, which shared something, and I was like, this
I didn't know, but it was kind of cool that it does the, for you it changed the game in one way, and for me, he actually influenced missions that came afterwards as well. So I like that they experimented with that, but like you said, they don't go all in on it, but it's neat.
I feel cool. So this to me is a kind of a... They're just dabbling with it, but if they really lent into it, so if Black Ops 5, whatever moniker they add to it, if they really lean into like there are branching paths here, not necessarily like an RPG style, but different splitting narratives, it could be cool.
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure. Yeah. What else?
Other than that, I played a 2017 multiplayer game called Witch It. Which you probably never heard about. Witch, like WITCH, like a witch. Witch it.
Witch it.
Witch space it.
Okay, I've never heard of this game.
No, I doubt you would have. It's like a small indie 2017 game where the premise is quite literally hide and seek. So the way each round works is you have a villager, or you have two teams, villagers and witches, okay? And the team of villagers basically has to hunt the witches, but the witches can transform themselves into any object on the map.
Oh, this is like Gary's mod.
It's yeah. I mean, this is a game mode that's been present in many other games in some form. I think even Modern Warfare has a hide and
prop hunt.
seek.
Yeah.
Yeah, prop hunt. It's literally that. Okay, but this whole game is built around that.
Okay.
But it's just really fun in the sense that there are twists where villagers have abilities and witches have abilities. So, for example, a witch has the ability to create a decoy. So I could, for example, choose to hide as a crate next to a whole bunch of other crates, and I can spawn a broom like a few meters away to distract the villager hunting me while I make an escape or something.
Okay.
Whereas on the flip side, the villagers also have their own abilities where, for example, the most crucial one is they can throw out a chicken.
Nice. Love
which
it.
travels a short distance, and if there's a witch in the vicinity, it'll make a noise. It's like there's a witch in this radius.
Okay, so chickens are your witch radars.
It's your witch radar.
Okay.
And it like the game is quite literally as simple as that, and it's just a lot of fun to play with friends. So we played like 6 to 8 of us, and what happens is the one mode we played is you start off with like 1 or 2 villagers, and if they manage to catch a witch by killing it, that witch becomes a villager as well.
Okay.
So eventually it becomes a thing of like you have 1 witch hiding and 7 villagers looking for them, and it's just a lot of shenanigans and tomfoolery.
So it's almost like there was that game mode in Halo. I think it was called Infected. Like if you're infected and you killed someone, they became infected.
They become I mean, but that's one of the game modes. It's such a simple premise, and my friends have been saying like we need to play this for the longest time.
Is it like is the perspective almost like an Among Us, like a 2D?
No, it's either first person or third person. You can choose.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes a big difference because. So if you're playing in first person, for example, like you're only looking forward, so it's very easy to sneak behind someone. It was just like a fun. We played it over 2 streams, and it was just a lot of fun.
And you say that so when you detect a witch as a villager, you have to kill them. Is there like combat?
No. So what? So the witches don't have any offensive abilities per se. Like they can't attack a villager to kill them. Okay. Their job is quite literally to just hide or run away.
Okay.
The villagers' main way of killing a witch is they throw potatoes. So if you see a witch, you just have to throw enough potatoes at them that it kills them.
The age-old enemy of witches, carbohydrates.
So if as a witch, there's a high risk, high reward system in place where if you choose to hide as something small, like an apple, let's say, you have very low HP. Whereas if you choose to hide as a big object, say a table, you have a lot more health. So it's the thing of like, do you choose to be something small and inconspicuous, but you can die in like 1 or 2 hits, or do you choose to be like this massive object that, takes a few hits to kill? And what's cool is that as a witch, you don't choose an object and that's that, like for the rest of the game. You can bounce between different objects as the round plays out. So, for example, I would start the round being a ladder against a wall, and if someone ran past me, I'd quickly like fall off the wall, move along, and then transform into an apple and like roll the other direction.
So you can move as whatever object you're hiding as. Okay.
So it's just some good multiplayer fun. It's not expensive. It's like 140 rand.
How do the witches win?
Oh, if the time runs out,
so it's a time limit. Okay.
It's a time thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got you.
And that sounds super cool. Simple. Yeah, it's good fun.
That sounds very good. Yeah, that sounds like a very, like you said, a cool game to play with a group of people that you know, sort of like Among Us. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I've played it and I've had my fill. I won't play it for a couple of months, but on a day we'll be like, let's play a couple of rounds and we'll enjoy it. Yeah.
That sounds cool. I've never heard of that. Witch it. Anything else on the tape? Is that it?
That is it.
Okay.
That's all we've played this week.
So I guess then it's time to get into game releases, which sort of bleeds into gaming news in a way. So we're looking at game releases from today, January 30th. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Until, can you believe we're in February already? February 5th.
Sure. Next thing you know, it's Christmas 2021. And then what?
Yeah, So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, And then there's definitely 2 other games on here that haven't been updated. But yeah.
Sure.
So first we've got Werewolf, The Apocalypse. Okay, hold on. Werewolf, The Apocalypse, Earthblood.
Sheesh.
Earthblood. Also known as soil.
Just why don't they just call it what werewolf soil?
I guess water is like like earth blood. It's like liquidy and it's everywhere.
It's ice juice.
Ice juice. Okay, ice juice. If you say so.
Where did I see it? There's a meme or video where there's a joke of like Mark is it Mark Zuckerberg?
Who? Facebook dude.
Facebook dude. Yeah,
Mark Zuckerberg.
He's basically like an AI, like trying to take over the world. And there's a meme or video, I can't remember which one it was, of him like drinking water, and he's like, ice juice.
Oh my god. The number of memes where he looks so like the android from like the old Star Trek.
Exactly.
It's creepy.
He doesn't know it's water. He thinks he's like, ice juice.
Oh my god. How do you make water? You melt the ice. Where does the ice come from? No one knows.
Well, it's funny because the one where Lenska and I went away last year for a weekend. Where did we go? To Harrismith. On one of our stops, we went into one of those like proper old school, like tin, like at a garage. There's one of those, often get those side stores where it's like biltong and this and that.
Yes.
Whatever. They had waters in their fridge called Sky Juice. And I laughed. I was like, oh my goodness. Mark Zuckerberg's taking over the world here.
I can't. So yeah, werewolf game. This makes it seem like this is like a sequel to a long-standing franchise. I've never heard of this franchise in my life.
Werewolf Sky Juice. Cool. What else?
Blue Fire coming to PC and Switch on February 4th.
Nice.
Then we've got Nuts on PC and Switch February 4th. This is actually already out on Apple Arcade. It's sort of like Firewatch, but you're like using multiple camera systems to observe squirrels. It's got a very cool visual art style. I'm actually kind of curious about this game.
That's cool.
Yeah, it looks weird, and I'm all in. Like,
you're all in.
It's called Nuts. And then we've got Neo 2, the Complete Edition, coming to PC, finally, on February 5th. And the Neo Remastered Collection coming to PlayStation 5 on February 5th as well. Okay. And then the other 2 that aren't listed on here, but I know they're coming. February 2nd is Control Ultimate Edition.
Ooh.
So that's finally coming out. And Destruction All-Stars on PlayStation 5.
Nice.
And both Control Ultimate Edition and Destruction All-Stars will be part of PS Plus. That's a big get for PS Plus, because the Ultimate Edition of Control is the only one that has the next gen upgrade.
Next gen. I mean, I suppose that's a good segue into gaming news.
Yeah.
I suppose, as you said, so like we've just said, PS Plus for February. It's a great lineup. I think
really is. Yeah.
It's interesting because games with gold on Xbox and PS Plus this month, I feel they've both got very good lineups.
Definitely, yeah.
So Xbox Live Gold members will get, I think it's Resident Evil 1 Remake, which is a fantastic game if you've not played it. It's like a proper ground-up remake of the original Resident Evil, which came out in 2003, I want to say, but then got like an HD remaster in like 2017-ish, somewhere there, maybe probably earlier. And Gears 5, which you've played and you enjoyed.
Really good game. Like, it's on Game Pass as well, but games for gold, once you redeem them, you own them. So if you ever unsubscribe, you'll still have access to it. So yeah, Gears 5 is very good. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So that's a good one.
And then on the flip side, PS Plus, you've got Control Ultimate Edition, Destruction All-Stars, which
I'm very glad they made that a PS Plus game.
Yeah, PS Plus game. And what else was there? There were... What was the other... there was Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night.
No, that's in Asia.
Is it just in Asia? Okay, I was very confused because I saw an article about it. I was like, what?
Let me actually see. There is a third one.
PS Plus games, fair. But points being, though, that both consoles have a pretty solid lineup of free
Yeah,
games.
it's the strongest.
Concrete Genie. That is the other one.
Oh yeah, I want to play that. I actually haven't
Yeah.
played that, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the best PS Plus lineup in probably ever.
In a long
actually.
time,
It's
yeah.
it's
I mean,
very good.
Control Ultimate Edition is like, wow, that is a
That's a
massive,
huge
massive
get.
giveaway.
Yeah.
If you've not played Control, then do yourself a favor. It's
I'm very
really,
curious
really
to
good
see
game.
it running on console. Because I know that the developer Remedy, they came out and said there's going to be 2 modes. There's going to be a 60 frames per second performance mode with no ray tracing, and then a 30 frames per second mode with ray tracing. But even the 30 FPS mode, like Control is a game on PC that leverages NVIDIA's DLSS really well, because if you aren't using DLSS, the ray tracing really punishes your hardware.
Yeah.
Because it's everywhere. It's reflections, it's ambient occlusion, it's lighting.
Yeah.
And, to this day, I still think Control is the best showcase for ray tracing. So I hope that they've managed to find a good middle ground on console, because more people getting to see that is great. I think it's transformative to the game. When you turn ray tracing on and off, it's like
It's
a
really,
huge difference.
I mean,
that
was the showcase piece for me, where I got a ray tracing card. I was like, well, I can't really use it. Well, I couldn't really use it until I played Control, and then putting it off was like, it's like, I can't play like this. I've got to have the ray tracing.
It's so good. And then I guess only on PC, but the DLSS allows you to crank up the ray tracing and keep it at like 60 frames per second. It's seriously one of the coolest games on PC. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I really like Control. And also the Ultimate Edition will have the DLC. So that's cool.
Yeah, which I have not played.
Yeah, neither. I haven't gotten to that. The only downside is that you cannot bring your saves. If you get it on PS4, you can take your PS4 save and play it on PS4. But as soon as you upgrade to PS5, your save is not compatible.
Yeah.
So that's a bummer. But oh well.
Yeah.
It just means you have to play through that great game again.
Yeah. How unfortunate.
How unfortunate.
I mean, should we talk about the news of the week, though, which we spoke a little bit about earlier at the top of the episode? The
GameStonks.
The GameStonks drama. I mean,
yeah.
How do we encompass this quickly?
I don't want to spend like too long on this, because I think by now, if you've been interested in it, you've likely read up on it. But
yeah,
the long and the short, the long and the short of it is basically GameStop has been in dire straits for a long time. No one can argue that. So what that means in the economic world is lots of companies take out short positions on them, which essentially means they are borrowing shares and giving them out for sale with the expectation that the price will drop. It's a very risky investment, because your potential losses are infinite, because your losses are based on how high the thing goes, and your gains, the biggest gain you can get is if the share drops to zero.
Like crashes,
So essentially, GameSpot stock was shorted beyond 100%, which makes no sense to me. I don't know how you can short more stock than is issued.
Exists,
But this opened up the door for some people on Reddit who said, we're gonna stick it to these hedge funds that basically dictate when a company is no longer worth anything by taking all these big short positions on it. And they started buying up tons of stock. And what that meant was that these short positions all have a time limit on them. So eventually they have to be closed. So the more stocks that were being bought, it was driving up the price and putting pressure on these hedge funds with short positions to be like, we're going to have to close out for a loss, which in turn rockets the price up even more. So what it's led to is people making tons of money. The GameStop's share price was like $5 at the beginning of this year. It's now, yesterday it closed at nearly 400.
Which is just, I mean, that's
it's
in the space
astronomical.
Of like a week.
Yeah, it's increased something like 1,600% in January alone. To the point where the American government is looking at it. Stocks should not be this volatile, but this to me is really it's blown the door wide open for regular people like us as to how ridiculous the stock market really is and how hedge funds seriously take advantage of it. And now that regular retail investors are getting involved, now the hedge funds are like, whoa, this free market idea, it's actually kind of a bad idea. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
all
there's
sorts of
actually
bullshit.
some great memes that have come out of this.
Yeah. My favorite one is still the where it's like, rich people, you should learn to invest your money. Poor people.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, rich people. No, stop. Yeah. It's fantastic. But that's what it's showing. It's showing that, people always talk about capitalism and the free market as this means for anyone to get rich.
Yeah.
But in actuality, it's a means for already rich people to get richer, like they did during the pandemic. Most companies and very rich, people like your Jeff Bezos and your Elon Musk, they all made trillions of dollars.
They made a lot of cash money.
While people were like suffering, and now that the people suffering are going, well, I can actually make quite a bit of money here very quickly.
They're like, no.
On the backs of hedge funds bleeding. It's like, no, you're not allowed to do that.
My goodness.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Well, on that whole Elon Musk thing, there was also news this week that he tweeted about Cyberpunk 2077, and I think their share price also, their stock
rose
surged.
19% just because he tweeted about it.
I'm like, how can one person have so much power with one tweet?
But he's part of this thing because he tweeted about GameStop.
Exactly. Yeah.
He tweeted about Dogecoin and that went up 500% afterwards. It's like,
I'm just like, I don't know. It's like, it's such a weird thing because, I mean, he really is like one of the world's richest people, right? But I'm like, the best financial advice I can give anyone today is like, just whatever he tweets about, just snap up stock of that because for some reason...
I just have alerts on his Twitter, like be very quick. Yeah.
So, I mean, I mean, how much did Cyberpunk rise? You said
19%. Yeah.
It's like
it was their biggest rise since 2015
tweet.
or something. Yeah. And I mean, when the whole WhatsApp, Facebook thing was happening earlier this year, he tweeted telling people to move to Signal, which is like a messaging app. But Signal's open source. It is not a company. Yet there was a company on the stock exchange called Signal, and their share price rose astronomically.
They must
it's
have
all
been
a game.
So
it's
confused.
nonsense. It's all nonsense. It's ridiculous. But that's like the TLDR version of what's going on. I will not advise anyone to invest in something they do not understand. But it is a fascinating thing, and I implore people to read up more about it because I've learned a lot about the stock market just through this debacle, and I've learned how fucking nonsense a lot of it is. But I think it's an interesting time. To me, this is an inflection point in history because it's really turned people's perception of that sort of wealth on its head. And you've got a lot of big tech and financial people saying this is a turning point in how Wall Street operates. So from that perspective, it's just fascinating to watch.
Yeah, and I just think it's what I find so amusing is that it just got caught up in the world of gaming.
Yeah,
like
it was just pure
some other
chance.
obscure company or whatever. It's like, no, it's like gamers versus Wall Street, it feels.
God, and CNBC is, they're like, gamers are investing in the stock because they're nostalgic for the old days of gaming. It's like, are you fucking stupid? Like, you guys are a financial channel, like one of the biggest in the world, and that is why you think people... It's been a roller coaster of like bad media, bad takes all around. It's seriously something.
It's weird.
But yeah, do some reading on it because it is. I find it incredibly fascinating. So yeah, it's cool. What else?
There's a fair bit of news this week.
There is. The Epic Store released some stats on, I think, just its year of 2020. Just some quick stats for you. Quick math.
Nice.
Monthly users rose from 32 million in 2019 to 56 million by December 2020,
sure.
Which is around half of what Steam has. So that's not bad at all. There are now over 160 million Epic Store users, with a peak concurrent rate of 13 million in 2020. I think I don't know what Valve's peak concurrent rate was. But yeah, let's see. There was something about the free games that really blew me away.
Stats about the games you give away.
Yeah, it was like how many were claimed. Where's that stat now?
I mean, that
there
must
we
be
go.
astronomical.
749 million free games.
That is
claimed. That is a lot of money.
I mean,
that is a lot of games.
I have to believe that when Epic gives away games, right, they're reimbursing the publishers or developers somehow. Like, surely.
I think so. If I'm not mistaken, the payment to the developers who put it out free is based on how many people download it.
But I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
if you look at Battlefront 2, that alone took 19 million. To the point where it crashed the game's servers. Like,
oh my gosh. So just imagine, for argument's sake, that Epic Games gives the developer even just $1 for every game, which I don't know what the deal is, but that means that they could have given away, like hypothetically, $750 million to developers, which is like...
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of cash moolah.
But at the same time, they earned 700 million in revenue just on purchases made on the Epic Games Store.
Yeah. So
and 265 million on third-party games on the Epic Games Store. It's
interesting. I think it's quite an interesting shake-up with Epic on the market now.
What would you guess are 3 of the most played games on the Epic Store? I've got a list of the 10 here, the most popular titles.
Is it free games or games just
any
on
games?
Epic?
Any games?
Fortnite.
Yep.
Fortnite has to be up there. Rocket League.
Yep. Nice.
Really?
Yep.
Is it? Where's that on the list?
They don't rank them from 1 to 10, but it's on the list.
It's on there. Am I just guessing 3 on that list of 10?
Yeah, just guess 3.
Rocket League and Rogue Company.
Wow, you nailed it. Damn.
Really?
Yeah, Rogue Company's on you.
Damn.
Yeah, the other ones are GTA 5.
Because they gave that away. They gave that away at one point as well. Yeah.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Wow. Okay, that I did not expect.
Borderlands 3.
Shit. Okay.
Satisfactory.
Okay.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Dang.
SnowRunner.
SnowRunner.
Yeah. And Godfall. Of all
What?
things. Yeah, of all things, Godfall.
Okay, so I really was just very lucky with my free-to-play titles.
Satisfactory was one I was also like, yeah, that makes sense there. But some of the others, I'm just like, Borderlands 3 and Tony Hawk. I'm like, okay.
SnowRunner.
People love that shit. Yeah. Isn't it like Mud Tracks? It's like a very physics-based truck simulator thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know there's a local streamer called Entity who he streamed it a lot last year, and I popped in and out. And from what I understood, it really was like you taking cargo from A to B. But she's like, I did not expect that to be in the top 10.
It's very physicsy based. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Hilarious. Some quick news.
Yeah.
PlayStation 5 exclusive Returnal has been delayed from
to April.
Yeah, 30th of April from the end of March. So that game looks really fun. I'm actually very keen to play that. Yeah,
it looks real good.
Looks really good. Cyberpunk 2077 got a hotfix issued, which fixed a bug that was introduced with the game's latest big patch.
I mean, they also removed a mod that allowed players to have sexy times with Keanu Reeves. Apparently.
Yeah, it's true, because the official modding tools for the game were released, and of course, people started shipping the in-game model of Keanu Reeves with whatever they wanted to. So
hilarious.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure that's like a legal thing for them. Just like, guys, please, we're gonna get sued by Keanu Reeves, please.
But that's so like, it's such a weird thing because like, the moment you tell the internet to not do something, they'll find ways to do it.
Streisand effect, 100%.
Yeah. So I don't see that problem going away, unfortunately.
What else? There's a new Animal Crossing New Horizons update that was teased. There's an event called Festival coming on February 15th
sometime.
With a peacock pave. She'll be in town doing, exchanging
Stuff.
things for unique items. Then they also teased a big crossover event with Mario in March,
Mario.
which will be
Nice.
around the game's 1-year anniversary. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's nice. On Nintendo news, they also revealed a limited edition Monster Hunter Rise Nintendo Switch.
Yes, it looks really good.
And
It looks
is
really, really good.
It's a real pretty Nintendo Switch, let me tell you. Like, I always, so for example, just on Animal Crossing, I thought the Switch was nice. It had the custom Joy-Cons, the Animal Crossing colors, it's like that, was it the blue and green? Like
that very like pastel blue and green.
Yeah, but like the Switch itself is very like, I suppose, minimal in the sense of like what they actually did to it, but like in a good way. But this Monster Hunter Switch looks like they went all in on like the Joy-Cons. It's still like the gray, but it's got Monster Hunter decals on it, and the actual dock itself is like black and gray.
It's like this really nice gold adornment on black.
Yeah,
it's really
super,
good.
super nice.
I also really like the Pro controller that's coming with it.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a surprise actually, that it's coming with a specific Pro controller. Also really nice, that black and gold look. So,
it's really good. I like it, and that's coming. I think it launches with the game
March 26th probably.
Cool. So I think that's news.
Yeah, I think we can leave it there. There's just like 3 very quick fire things. Ninja Theories, the Bleeding Edge is dead, basically. that's the long and the short of it. Yeah, they're
10
closing
months.
the servers.
No, they're not. They're not. They're just stopping content.
No, they're just stopping development. Sorry.
So you'll still be able to play, but there's no additional content coming to that game.
Who's still playing? Is that what you're going to ask?
Well, yeah, that, and I mean, I never got the chance to play the game properly because I was meant to review it and I couldn't connect to any games.
To anything, yeah.
Yeah, it was the only like, at least Microsoft game that I could literally not connect to anything. I played that tutorial so many times, so it's sad because I think the style of the game was pretty cool. So
yeah. And just two more quick things. Game Pass has 18 million people on it, which is
damn, that's a lot of people.
Kind of wild. Yeah, I think it is like maybe around Christmas time or just before Christmas they want 15 million. So the service is just continuing to grow, which is
just keeps going up.
Yeah, and then the last bit of news: Apex Legends Season 8 is launching. I think it's February 2nd, I think, or 3rd. And they showed off the latest champion, who's called Fuse.
Yeah, what does Fuse do? I've been seeing a lot of happiness.
I don't know all of his abilities, but I think his ultimate is basically like not a grenade launcher, but it's like a big AoE something. But I think what people are excited for is that King's Canyon is coming back. But I think it's been changed. You know how Fortnite's had it before, where like they blew up one part of the map or something.
Yes.
I think King Canyon's had that sort of change where it's still the map you know and love, but there are some cosmetic changes to it and there are some differences to it. And they're also adding a new rifle. It's basically like a semi-automatic long-range rifle, which is pretty cool because I don't think the game has that. Well, it does, but it's got like the G7 Scout. But this rifle, I don't know what it's called, but it looks like it packs more of a punch.
I need to really play Apex again because
I played a little bit over December, and let me tell you, Apex is still real good. Like that, it's probably still my favorite battle royale.
I haven't played it in so long. I really should get back into it because so many people that I know just keep playing it consistently and just really enjoy it.
I can't believe it's on season 8. Like that's
crazy,
just shows how long the game's been around for now.
When did it come out? 2019?
2 years? Yeah.
Yeah. So almost because it like surprise launched in February of 2019. So two years, man.
Yeah.
Holy
where's
shit.
the time gone? Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's it. That's the gaming news.
Yeah. So as always, that brings us to questions. If you would like to send us a question, you can email us, checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. It's checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also grab us on social media at Checkpoint Chat on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all those good places.
The things.
All
we
of
don't
them.
have a TikTok.
DMs are open.
I have been playing with the idea of actually starting a TikTok, though. I don't know
How
what
dare
I
you?
put in it.
Then that joke's not going to be funny anymore. You can't do
It
that.
won't. You know what's funny? Just so I spoke about Widget earlier, right? The joke with my friends was like, for the longest time, when I say they wanted me to play, it was like a meme, basically. It's like, what are we playing tonight? We're playing Widgets. And for like months, I was like, no, I'm not. I haven't bought the game. No, I'm not. Until I was like, I actually have nothing else to play. Let's play this damn game. And one of my friends was like, no, we can't. Then the meme will die.
Exactly.
Like,
you're
like,
too
you're
far
not
in.
wrong.
You're too invested into it. You can't look back now.
Good Lord.
Fantastic.
Questions. I think we only have one question, believe it or not, this week. My Deus.
See, when it's raining outside, it's not raining in our inboxes.
When it rains, it doesn't pour in our inbox. I think, let me just double check, but I'll start off with this one question. I don't think there's anything more. But on Twitter, we have Adrian_Barn who says, Yo, esteemed hosts, all this PS5 talk, do you think it's worth getting in now or waiting a bit? Also, do you guys think we will have reliable stock at any point this year?
Oh, God, yeah. That you see, that I was about to say, do you even have a choice whether you get in or not at this point? Because the stock is really dictating that at this point. So,
yeah.
Listen, I think it's good to get in now, because just from I can't say for sure whether one thing will happen or not, but I don't see the console getting cheaper.
No,
I see it staying the same, and I also see it getting more expensive.
Yeah,
I don't see it getting cheaper. So I think if you can snap up stock now, 100% go for it. There's so many games you can play now as well that I don't think it's a case of like, no, wait till there's more in here. But obviously the stock is an issue. So
yeah, but so stock aside, I do think as the year goes on, like we will see more stock. I mean, we're in January now.
For sure.
There will be. I mean, even in South Africa, we've had like dribs and drabs of stock come in that just get snapped up very quickly.
Actually, we forgot about this in news, but AMD, who both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are powered by AMD APUs, and AMD CEO Dr. Lisa Su, she basically said she doesn't expect production issues to disappear until like July this year.
Oh shit! So maybe there won't be stock.
And she says the most affected are low-end PCs and consoles.
Well, shit. So look, I think so. Stock aside, whatever. If you can get your hands on a PS5, I think it's worth it.
Yes.
Because like I hear a lot of people saying like they're gonna wait because like what can they play? It's just Demon Souls and Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and like a handful of other things. Astro's Playroom.
How dare you? In this house, we stand that game.
With Sackboy, like there's the launch titles essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like launch titles aside, I've been having a good time with my PS5 just as a console.
Yeah.
Like I've spent a lot of time playing Bloodborne on my PS5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the fact that it's backward compatible with PS4, you can just bring your games over. Mm-hmm. So if you've got a PS4, to me it's a bit of a no-brainer because you can just keep playing your existing games with the option of having PS5 games on top of that.
And also all the ones with like free upgrades. I mean, I booted up Destiny 2 just to see it running at 60 frames per second on console. Like if you're big into Destiny, you've got that there. Yeah. But like you said, I'm playing my backlog on it as well, and I'm reaping some of the smaller benefits. Like my games are loading faster. I'm still fucking up when I'm trying to turn off the console because they chose to change that.
Shortcuts change.
God damn it, man.
But I mean, as a console, I really do like the UI. And
I do, yeah.
I still get that joy of when I boot up my PS5, I honestly sit back, I'm like, oh my God, like I own a PS5. Like I'm so grateful I managed to get one and I'm really enjoying it.
I'm still getting used to the controller, hey. It still feels big.
It's funny because I'm almost like reluctant to use my PS5 controller on PS4 games. I'm like, no, I'm gonna save them. So Bloodborne I played with my PS4 controller.
Oh wow. Okay.
Celeste, I was like, I'm not gonna ruin my PS5
Okay,
controller
that I
mashing the
understand,
thumbstick and stuff. I'm using my PS4 controller.
But it was just a
Yeah.
weird thing because yesterday I started up the Medium and I was using the Xbox controller on PC,
Like,
and I
what
was
is
like,
this?
man, this is so much more comfortable. Like
Yeah,
the
let me
Xbox
tell you,
controller is just so much nicer.
I still really love the Xbox One controller.
It's just
like,
it feels so good in the hands. It's like it's amazing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I will say the PS5 controller I think is a upgrade to the PS4 controller. Like, it just
100%, yeah.
That's a little bit bigger. It feels more comfortable to me.
It's definitely an improvement, and especially the battery life is a big improvement.
It's a big improvement. Yeah.
But I still think it's a bit too chunky. But yeah.
Well, speaking of, sorry, just on the controller, have you looked at the back of your controller? Because it's
dirty.
white.
Yeah.
How dirty is the back of your controller?
I've had to clean it about 3 times already. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's just like stuff that, I don't eat and play games. But
No,
the grime comes off
nor
your
do
hands,
I.
sweat or whatever,
Yeah, but I think it was like in December when I just happened to look at the back of my controller. I was like, holy shit. It's like, how
horrible.
did this thing get so dirty? And the reality is, even if it was a black controller, like, just because you can't see the dirt doesn't mean it's there.
That's also the thing. It's like, how dirty is my other
Oh my
controllers?
gosh. I cleaned my PS4 controller just on principle of like, I can't see the dirt, but I know it's there. But the fact that it's white, I'm like, damn, it really does collect.
It is satisfying to clean it and get it back to that nice pristine white.
That
though.
nice pristine. So like, my second controller, I mean, I'm not buying one for a long time, but I'm specifically waiting for like a limited edition or something different. I don't want another white controller.
Yeah, same.
So
I did manage to snag one of those charging docks finally. I ordered it in like
cool.
November and it finally came back into stock.
so I can actually see behind you your PS5 controller is charging there.
Yeah, it's just
Nice.
it's really nice because it connects to power directly, so it's not using any USB ports on my console or anything. And when I'm done playing, I just boop, and it's quite
pop it
nice.
in
Yeah,
there.
I quite like it.
But yeah, just to round off the question, in terms of the like stock aside, if you can get your hands on a PS5, like I would, I really think it's worth it. Like I said, I've been enjoying mine. So yeah, and I know the person who asked the question, they are a big also Bloodborne fan. They can play that good Demon Souls. Why not?
Demon
jump
Souls
in,
is so.
you know?
I'm running into this point where I've run out of like new exclusives to play on PS5, but that's why I'm going back into my backlog now. But also like I played a lot of games in December. Like it's not through lack of like there not being anything. So and there's more stuff coming. Like Ratchet and Clank is meant to come soon. Deathloop is out in 3 months. Returnal's out in 2 months.
April, May. You can get Destruction All Stars. You can
Yeah,
grab Control
listen,
Ultimate
that
Edition.
I'm gonna grab that game just because it looks pretty. Like I don't know how much I'll play it, but I'll probably grab Control and just see how the hell that thing looks on PS5. So yeah, I think it's well worth it. Like well worth it. Yeah,
do it. And that's it. So I think that is all the questions we have. We don't have any more.
If you want to send us a question just like Arian did, you can email us checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com, or you can message us on all our social platforms.
Message us on TikTok.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Send us your best TikToks. Send us a question in TikTok form. Actually, yeah, just do that. Just like doing the
since I
floss.
sent you a good TikTok.
Oh God, yeah, so good. This guy.
This guy. Do you
Kills me.
remember?
That's been episode 131 of Checkpoint Chat. I know we say this every week, but new things are coming. We are waiting on small things. But yeah, new things are coming. I even got an Elgato light.
I can
in
see
preparation
Alessandra's
for those
face
meetings.
properly for the
I know.
first time in years.
I look so much better lit than I usually am. It's so good.
Put that on a shirt. I look so
Lit
much better
AF. I'm lit AF.
lit fam. Nice man.
I just need to figure out how to position this light so it's not reflecting in my glasses every time I move.
But yeah, I think the video stuff we almost there. We really are. So
we're very close.
Yeah,
it's
stay
coming.
tuned.
It is coming.
And
Stay
you can
tuned
see
for
our
that.
faces
But
on YouTube.
as always, if you're listening, thank you for your support. I love you.
Love you more.
Love you.
Viewer, listener, whatever you are.
And we will be back next week, as always, on our bullshit.
Back on our bullshit. Well, let's leave on a prediction. What do you think GameStop's going to be next week? This time, I mean, think about how much happened just in
Good
this
Lord.
week.
I don't know.
Are the stonks going to be worth zero, or are they going to be at $5,000?
Listen,
like
it was hard times for me because I bought it like a bit of a high, and then it died, and then it bounced back yesterday to the point where I'm like breaking even already. I don't know, man. If you go by the advice of the Reddit, that shit is going up to $10,000. Who the fuck knows?
You just got to hang tight. You got to wait because you're going to get some stonks.
Hold the door. Hold the door open to the GameStop. Amazing.
That's it.
But yeah, please don't gamble your money away.
No.
And we'll see you next week on Checkpoint Chat.
Cool.
Okay, bye.
Checkpoint Millionaire Chat. What? Bye.